Between the hills, the stars, the sky, the river so clear, river so clear.
Let us join in a spirit of meditation, reflection, or prayer as we deepen into our service and share our opening words for this morning. This reading comes from Molly Hoosh Gordon. Learning to love this world. We gather together this morning tenderly, like drops of dew on a leaf of grass, hopefully, like gathered raindrops in a cloud, gleefully, like water rushing in a stream to the sea, deeply, like groundwater pulled up from a well. We gather from every direction for another year of growth and depth, another year of companionship and hope, another year of learning to love this world. We gather like the water that joins us across all of creation, the water that connects us within and without, merging and flowing across the entire world.
As we begin this year, we would be remiss if we did not mark the first year in 70-some years that Betty Mills is not with us. The first law of thermodynamics says energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only converted from one form to another. The energy that Betty had is still here. Her love of family, books, writing, this faith, this church, this building has been converted. May we each absorb a small amount of her energy and transform our home, our world, our faith, and this place in a good way, as she did. We join Unitarian Universalists all over the world in lighting our chalice. The chalice is a symbol of the spark of life in each of us. And if you're on Zoom, please join us. You can turn your video on and light your chalice as we light ours here. These words come from Laura Horton Ludwig. Fire and water, ancient opposites. Sun and ocean, the cradle of life. Dancing flame and dancing river, we invoke them together today as we kindle our chalice flame.
So our program today is called Reflecting on Water. And each year, in many Unitarian Universalist traditions, it is the custom to offer water as a symbol of our connection to each other. This morning we have 4 periods of water sharing with whatever water we have brought. We want to share with one another not only where our water comes from, but share what it means to us and what it symbolizes in our lives. First, we will have a chance to share water that reminds us that while some have abundance, others struggle in scarcity. Second, we will share water that symbolizes journeys, movement, and change. Third, we will share water that reminds us of life's storms, our concerns, our worries, frustrations, and losses. And finally, we'll share water that reminds us of the well springs of our lives. If you did not bring water today, you can always go in the kitchen and get a glass, use that water to symbolize the water that you forgot to bring and wish you had. The first water that we'll share comes from Lake Chida by Betty Mills, and it was brought by Betty Mills' family. It represents the decades of fun and good times they had. It comes from the Heart River on the Lake Chida side of the dam. Betty Mills spent many a summer picnic with her family on the Heart River before the dam, and in the 70 years after the dam was built in her family cabin. This adds up to about 97 years in being refreshed and entertained by this river. And this water that was poured there is sacred, like all water. Water can neither be created nor destroyed, merely transformed. This water could have been drunk by a dinosaur or drawn from an ancient well, and now it will mingle with the waters of this community. As we consider our water, let us not forget
Mini Wachoni.
Water is life, and the good work this congregation did as we followed the lead of our Indigenous brothers and sisters during the DAPL protests. Let us not forget that water unites us all. So the first part of the water communion part 1 is drought. This container, which was empty of water moments ago, reminds us all of those who lack access to safe and affordable water. So this first water will begin our water communion, and it is a symbol of our solidarity with all those around the world who are calling for the human right to water. We also pour out water for all those who have lost crops and livestock because of the drought, as well as those who have suffered because of extreme heat and/or wildfires. If you would like to share water representing an awareness of scarcity in our community or our lives, please come forward with your water or indicate if you'd like us to come to you. So Anita shared water that is from her kitchen faucet because she is grateful and happy to have water come from her kitchen faucet. So thank you for that first sharing.
This is a poem from Langston Hughes. The Negro speaks of rivers. I've known rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. The second part of the water communion is waters that carry us. And I invite you to share water that reminds you of the changes and transformations in your lives, your journeys, whether spiritual or physical. I invite you forward to contribute to our child vessel here about with change and transformation in mind.
This water is from what we're calling the Black Lagoon behind our house, but we now call Beaver Lake. We have a creek behind our house, and it is Crown Butte Creek, and it flows. And we have a giant beaver dam that has been building, and then our neighbors trap out the beavers, and we struggle. Is it right to leave the beavers despite all the good they do? All the trees die, which in North Dakota, for a North Dakotan, is a hard thing to watch. But as we've watched this dam grow, and as I've spent time watching the beavers, because I'm kind of fascinated with them, I've come to realize that it's really about transformation. And we're changing what was a pasture and what was a bottomland into a wetland. And there are blue herons in our wetland, and there are beavers, and there are ducks, all different kinds of ducks. And there are birds of prey in the branches of these dead trees, and there are frogs. And it's really a time of transition as our youngest children are seniors this year, and we're looking at how our lives will transform. And I've just been thinking about it so much, and really hunkering down. I sit on the culvert every night and try to watch beaver and watch them and think about how important it is to accept what change brings. Even when you lose some things, you gain a lot of things too.
I'm going to add a little more Betty's water, as I know her family is adjusting to a new reality, as many of us are, just in honor.
Transformation and change and weaving the people that have been here and now are no longer here. My dad passed the end of May. This makes me think of him because he was very Catholic. You know, he's very Catholic. You come into the Catholic Church, there's a thing there, you put your hand and you do the thing. Anybody has familiarity with that. And it's holy water. So a friend a couple of months ago sent me something essentially saying how to make your own holy water. Just a little bit sacrilegious, but so I did that, and I made this. Well, a good portion of it wound up in my guitar case because I put it in there so I don't forget. And then I come out and, oh, well, there's a little left. So my guitar is apparently extra holy now too. So I'll add that to our water. And if you want to know how to make holy water, talk to me.
Well, I'll share some water now. I had a lot of traveling this summer, so I got to be in contact with several different water bodies. You can't bring water, as you know, like on an airplane. So this is the symbolic water. But one of the places that I went was to the Puget Sound in the West Coast, Washington State, and I went to the wedding of a very dear friend there, someone I've known for 25 years, and it was really neat to be able to be there because over the years I've connected. She had a great big wedding, and I we've been in each other's lives for long enough that even though I didn't grow up in that area, I knew a lot of the people there just from stories and having met them before. And so it was this really nice, like, connecting time. One of the highlights for me was getting out in a kayak in the Puget Sound. It was gorgeous. I was like, I need to start doing this more. So that's one of the things that I'm hoping to do here on the Missouri River. And then on the way home, I was actually just in tears, like on the airplane most of the time. And I feel like it had a lot to do with transitions. But I was also sort of wondering what all the tears were about. And I came home pretty emotionally drained. And then just a couple of days after that, I got a phone call that my mom had passed. And so also lots of transition in my own life. And I guess I'll just, yesterday, some more water. So here's some Puget Sound water. And then yesterday I was just I'm just, trying to get myself be where I am, I guess. And I took a long walk around, or partway around Lake Harmon, and that was exactly what I needed. I just needed like time alone. And so I give some tribute to that as well.
Brought this water here today on a plane. From Minneapolis. Specifically, there's a very special place in Minneapolis that is the Minnehaha Falls. It's a really dear place to me. And actually just watching the story for all ages this morning about a laughing waterfall. If you trace back the word Minnehaha, Mini is water and ha is laughing. So, it's the same sort of knowledge shared all over the world. And I want to offer some water today firstly for gratitude for the river for accepting my prayer to take some of this water, and also to the custodians of that water, the Mississippi and the Missouri, throughout history and particularly today. Those who are custodians against DAPL, KXL, Line 3. So I want to offer gratitude to those people specifically, and also to the place of Minnehaha Falls. It's just a very I go there a lot to reflect when I'm going through changes. I've been there to reflect on transitions in my life, deaths that I've dealt with, relationship changes that I've been going through, and whenever I return to that place, it sets me right. So I'm gonna offer some water from there.
We move to part 3 of the water communion now, the water of storms. Now is a time to share water symbolizing the storms in our lives, the concerns and sorrows, confusions and frustrations. Allow this vessel to be one of receiving and healing as it absorbs your storm. Again, you're welcome to say a word or two about the significance of this water, or put the water in without saying anything at all. So please, I invite anyone who has the water of storms to come forward, or symbolically the water of storms.
Tomorrow my dad is going home to my sisters, and Norma, his wife, she's living with my sister now, and he's on hospice. It's actually not a storm, but we've been involved in this storm of emotions and grief. It's amazing how many different kinds of grief each one can experience, none the same. My mother, I believe, will forever be in grief for the rest of her life. It's been horrible to see her grieve, because nothing we have done does not make any difference to her. And she, I believe, is also falling into dementia, and that makes us incredibly sad. But this water is from our lake cabin. A couple days ago, my brother swam out in a very chilly morning and deep into the lake so he could get the clearest water available. And he lives there now. Many happy moments I spent there.
Okay, I'm back and I'm crying. So, the storm right now is a loss of a friend of my granddaughter. It's just, I'm going to tell you that JP and I think we've renewed. I mean, it was always there, but we renewed and we are practically hovering over this child. And honestly, at this point, they're doing better than we are. And so it will be okay, but it's a forever thing.
I saved just a little bit of water that I want to offer for our brothers, sisters, distant relatives in Morocco. Not a storm, of course, but another natural disaster. Many thousands dead and many missing. And I just want to send my prayers for all of those who are suffering and wanting.
When I thought about bringing water, I thought about bringing water from behind my house. There's a drainage ditch right behind my house. It's right as you're driving on Divide after the YMCA. That big drainage ditch. That's right outside my backyard. But, you know, I've got a puppy, and at 10:10, Alma said, we need to go pick up the fall girls on the way to church. So there was no time to collect water from the drainage ditch. This is from my kitchen sink, which represents the drainage ditch behind my house. But I've lived in that house all of my life, and that house belonged to my grandfather before my family came into it. So when I think about, you know, the history of all the storms that have been through that house, marriages and divorces and people moving in and out and relationships coming and going, it's seen a lot. But hang on. Thank God. But the drainage ditch in the backyard has always been this beautiful escape. You just walk down that hill and you're transformed into this totally peaceful, beautiful place.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and where shall all our love be found? Oh, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and where shall all our hope be found? Oh, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and where shall all our strength be found? Oh, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and where shall all our peace be found? Oh, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, mothers, let's go down in the river to pray.
as I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way. And where shall all our love be found? Oh, show me the way.
Part 4 of our water communion is the waters that sustain us. As we conclude our communion, I invite you to bring water that reminds you of the well springs of your life, the water that sustains you when you are feeling empty, the joys that give you hope and buoy you up. Marnie, do you want to do?
Dean Conrad gave me the honor of sharing the water that he and Pat brought. They have had 9, Dean, is that correct? 9 exchange students over the years since 1983, and 8 of the 9 came here this summer to be with them, which I think is a remarkable thing to celebrate, in part, your anniversary, correct? And there was a write-up, there was some stories that happened, and if you can see here, you can see this picture of them with 8 of the 9 exchange students from all over the world. And they gathered together in front of the Missouri River, and this water is from the Missouri River, representing all the water all over the globe and all the people they brought together, and I think that's so beautiful. Pat wrote something on the back, and I don't dare not read what Pat wrote. I would feel terrible, so I'm going to read this. This will be better than what I said. We did not go anywhere this summer, but our international family came to Bismarck to be with us for the 4th of July holiday. This picture was taken at Sonali's garden on July 4th, just before we came to the church to view the fireworks. This water symbolizes the rain that kept Sonali's garden beautiful this summer. It is a great location for a photo shoot.
I didn't know where this fit in. I was thinking about this on the way here today, and how I've always considered water, and when I die, I want some of my ashes to go into the water, because you know what? Water gets to go every place. And that's where I want to go. And I want to somehow to acknowledge also the water and the I don't know what turned out to be a super strong movement of no DAPL, and how important that was, how important it remains. And also, I always think that wherever I've been, that's where I was, kind of thing. So that I leave a little part of me every place. If I love somebody, I love them, and that doesn't go away. And so for this, I would like to do, I need somebody to hold the microphone so I can do this.
This water is from Clear Lake, which is part of Riding Mountain National Park in Manitoba, Canada. And when Karen and I were growing up in separate countries, she's from just south of Clear Lake, and I was in Minot. We, both of our families did a lot of summer vacations. She was closer and much younger, so she went there more often. And then when we got married years later, that's where we spent our honeymoon, was at Clear Lake. And then since then, almost not every summer, but most summers we have spent at least one time at Clear Lake in the summertime. So it's really it's restorative. It's a place of relaxation, connection, and they have such wonderful places for trails. So during storms, that is a really nice place to go and take a walk and clear your head.
Camp Unistar. And this water is from Cass Lake, Minnesota, from the beach area of Camp Unistar, located on Star Island. She said, "My favorite daily walk was through the woods to Sunset Rock." This is well water from my house. No rural water for us. It's kind of funky and a little salty, and it's what we've grown used to. And well water is usually ancient water, and it just reminds me of the connectivity of water and all of us, and of all of the hopes and beings and depressions and sorrows and joys in this vessel. So
Eileen Moeller. Nightfall, I sink into dishwash meditation. Steaming china prayer wheels, crystalline bells of the lost horizon, crockery mandalas, chanting din and lull of running water. Breathing slows, moist heat muscles soften, Zen poems drip from silverware, my air humming out in a cleansing melody, washing the frantic stew of a whole day down the drain, along with the suds, those transient rainbow things with the thin skin of a passing instant. I want to respect your time this morning, and so we will now extinguish the chalice. Angela, would you extinguish the chalice? Just, would you mind doing that while I read this? Water unites us. All water is one water, shape-shifting as it goes on in its unending cycle. The stream we gather by unites us with all the waters of the world, for all of life depends on water. That's why this common, everyday element on which our very lives depend is sacred. In our thankfulness for water, let us remember to honor, cherish, and care for it, for our own lives, for all life touched by water, and for those who come after us.
And the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Another day goes by, and still the children cry. Put a love in your heart. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. And the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. 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 You want the world